7 not like that.
You say 7 not like that. Yeah. Welcome to the Honor Among Men podcast. I'm David, and to the right of me we have
the Earth.
A, and to the left of me we have
Mikey Mike.
Yeah. And across from me, the face you'll never see, we have
Drew Younger.
Yeah. Round of applause. What up, y'all?
What up, though?
That's good. Seems like
Man,
forever.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a minute, y'all. This podcast number 10, too, by the way.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep the applause going for podcast number 10. You know what I'm saying? We've been gone for a couple of weeks, but we back. We back like we never left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Podcast number 10. What y'all been up to, man? It's been like a month.
About a month and a week, something like that.
Dang.
Count it, huh?
Who's counting? I'm right. Who's counting? A month and a week. What y'all been up to, man?
Getting adjusted to this weather change.
Man, oh man, bro.
Working.
Getting adjusted to this weather change.
My favorite holiday coming up.
Hello.
Man.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thanksgiving.
Hey, hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's what it should be called.
Thanks eating.
That's what it's all about.
That's definitely what it's all about.
Don't be confused out here.
Yeah. Get that plate. Get that nap. Get that plate. Get that nap. Hey.
Watch the game.
Yeah.
Halftime, get some more food.
Word. Word. That's what's up, man. Everybody cool though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Gravy.
Yeah, that's what's up. What that family life do, Drew? That family life like? You got that
No sleep.
You got that new baby.
No
baby
sleep.
on board.
Oh, man.
Man,
It's
she
crazy, but
getting
it's a
big.
blessing.
I seen her Sunday. I didn't even recognize her. I was like, dang, she just growing.
Yeah,
How old is she right now?
She's 4 months.
Yeah.
I was like, who baby that is?
Yeah, straight up.
Said that.
I'm like,
No,
dang,
there's only
she
2,
getting
bro.
big.
Don't be putting out there.
4 months already.
Right,
Only
4
2.
months already,
Yeah.
man.
I said to myself, this is about to pass real quick. By the time I blink my eyes, she's gonna be 18 and
Facts.
talking about boyfriends and all that stuff. Maybe she be talking about boyfriends before then, but it's gonna go fast.
He said before 18, huh?
I said she gonna talk about it. I didn't say I was.
Oh, I was
gonna
gonna
do it.
say.
I'm like, whoa.
You gonna have her out here, huh?
I'm like,
Nah.
bro done changed these last few weeks.
Yeah, give a couple weeks
It's
off.
up to me. She not be dating until
At least 25, right?
man. Get yourself together. Before
Yeah,
you,
get yourself together.
You know what I'm saying?
Get some wits about yourself.
And you going to online college.
Hey, hey, because it goes down at physical college, huh?
Online.
And you going to online.
You just gave me an idea, bro.
That's hilarious.
You are a phoenix.
Right.
.com.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. Well, we can get right to it, man. I feel like this is going to be a short one, but I don't know. We'll see. So today, in lieu of or in light of everything that's been going on in politics, blue against red, this one against that one. Shoot, man, this didn't even turn into black against white, man. It's going crazy out here, man. But my question is, should Christians have a political affiliation? Should Christians call themselves Democrat, Republican, Independent, Conservative, Liberal, whatever it is? Christians and politics. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we have conversations and we hear people say, how can you be a Republican and be a Christian? Or how can you be a Democrat and be a Christian? So, you know, we're going to put that in the air, man, and we just going to kind of just talk about it. You know, one thing I heard today that I was listening to an interview, and the person was basically saying, you can't tell what political affiliation someone is anymore by the things that they believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're a Democrat doesn't necessarily mean you're pro-choice. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're a Democrat don't mean that you are okay with women getting abortions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean that you're not on board with gay marriage. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a Republican and be okay with gay marriage in today's society. You know what I'm saying? The lines are like super duper blurred right now. And so I just want to talk about that, man. I got my own opinion of it, you know what I'm saying? But I want to hear what everybody else think. We're going to talk about it. I feel like we're going to have an argument, too. I don't know, but
No, I just want
it wouldn't be, look, already. I wasn't even really, he said, nah, but hold on. Before you hop in, I gotta hit everybody with the question. So we're going to start with the fake. I'm going to save you for last, just so you know. I'm going to save you for last. We're going to start with Drew. What is your political affiliation, bro? What are you? If you had to choose.
Independent.
Okay.
Reason being is that my parents really they weren't like fully Democrat. For the most part, they've been Republican as far as I know for like my whole life.
Okay.
So for the most part, all my life, I was surrounded by Republicans. Like a lot of my
your
uncles,
family, like your whole family,
like my father's side. I was more exposed to my father's side of the family than anything.
Okay.
Like a bunch of my uncles, they're Republican. When I was hanging out in Cali, my godfather, like Republican, like bishop level. Like, so I've always been surrounded by people that have been like listening to like political stuff. And I just, even when I looked at the Democrat side, I'm like, everybody's like so extreme. I just kind of need to, in my own way, to myself, so I can kind of feel good about my, what I believe in or what I'm affiliated with.
Yeah.
Kind of like just take to my thing. Like, okay, I'm not going to take the side of the Republicans just because of a certain issue.
Your parents are that,
or whatever, whoever's around me. I'm just gonna kind of stay to my own lane and vote on what I believe is good, whether it be Democrat or Republican, and just keep moving.
Mm-hmm. Word. What about you, B.R.?
I don't affiliate with no party. I base my votes and who I back off basically what they're offering me. So I don't say I'm a Democrat. I don't say I'm a Republican. I don't say I'm independent. I take the candidates, look at what they're talking about, what they're offering, and I judge from there. I don't align myself with any party.
That's good.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm actually, I lean toward that mantra as well. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky though, and say that I don't, for lack of a better way to put it, I don't care about politics like that. Like I'm involved, I pay attention, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately my legal situation, like I can't vote at the moment, and it's not like I can fill out some paperwork, you know what I'm saying? Like, and put some paperwork and be able to vote. I just haven't done it, just because, like, honestly.
Do you want to?
No, I don't. Okay. Like, I don't necessarily care like that, but I am abreast to a certain extent. I am aware of things to a certain extent. If I could vote, I wouldn't.
I hear you.
People, yeah. Even if I could,
I hear you.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I hear you.
People, and I've been catching flack. I've never voted. I've been catching flack since I've been 18. You know what I'm saying? Because
not voting?
Yeah, because I'm open with it. Like it is what it is. But people always say, your ancestors, your forefathers, they fought the civil rights movement. They fought so that you could vote. They fought for you to be able to vote, and I disagree with that.
Nah, they
I
fought
don't
because they
believe
had to survive.
I don't believe that they fought for us to be able to vote. I believe that they fought for us to be able to choose whether or not we wanted to. We couldn't. So even if we wanted to back then, we couldn't. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, I vote because Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and those guys. Like, I mean, respect, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm here where I am today because of the groundwork that they laid forth. But look, man, my allegiance is to Christ.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it don't matter. Like, people was devastated when Trump was in office, and I let it get to me too. Like, to a certain extent, I was like, dang, this dude and got elected. Like, I can't believe this. But then I sat back and had to think about it. Like, man, the Lord has been my provider
Facts.
since I can remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord has given me the wherewithal as far as like my mental to survive. Like, you know, whether a Democrat was in office or whether a Republican was in office, I've always been able to maneuver and survive. Like, whatever bill gets passed or whatever restrictions come, the Lord is going to provide me a way either around it or he's going to give me an opportunity to take advantage of it. And that's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, obviously, if I had to choose, I probably, you know, like he say, would just look at the policies of whoever it is and vote that way. But that's my whole thing. Go ahead, Mike. What are you?
Oh, I'm a
Democrat, Republican. You a Democrat? How you gonna be a Christian and a Democrat, bro? How dare you?
You believe in murdering babies, bro?
Oh, you a baby
bro, hey,
murderer.
No, because
gays can get married.
No, that's what because you said that.
Yeah,
people-
no, I'm with you. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
So when people
shots fired, you know what I'm saying?
This is so
Baby murderer, huh, Michael?
right.
Huh, brother?
But that's what
He didn't
people.
give me a chance to tell you. Go ahead.
Hey, bro.
We all did. We all did.
I was like,
We all jumped on him.
No, you good, bro. You good, bro.
The debates on TV.
Right, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm with it. Go ahead. I'm on here, dog.
I'm on my Roland Martin.
That's what it was. I felt like it.
Bro!
Let me say this.
On
though, 'cause
Fox.
I was ready to hop in earlier when you said it. I feel like that was when you spoke immediately during the podcast. You talked about today's society saying you can be a Republican or a Democrat and have many different views. Inside the Democratic or Republican Party, there are many smaller parties inside of it, and I feel like what people do is say Democrat and check all 7 boxes. Say, oh, killing babies. Gay marriage, and that's all that's in the Democratic Party, or for the Republican
Republicans.
Party, Christian and no
Just-
gay marriage,
yeah,
and
business
that's the
and
only
all
thing that's
stuff,
in
yeah.
it. Like, I'm like, come on, like, I'm a liberal conservative.
Right.
And that's why I line up with more of what the Democrats said, because I feel like I can't be a part of the grand old party and call myself a liberal. It's hard to have the concept saying I want to be progressive and change and say I still want to stick to the old traditional ways. That's oxymoronic. So I get that in the past that there were things done a certain way, but things change. Just like the Bible says, sin will wax worse and worse. It's going to wax worse and worse regardless. But I have a conscious mind to say how far I want to allow myself to go into it. So as like I said, liberal conservative, I'm conservative in a lot of my views. As far as, you know, I definitely believe it's pro-life. I wouldn't kill, but I also can't have babies. So just like you were saying, the ancestors didn't fight for us to vote exactly, and they voted. I mean, they
Fought.
for us to have the choice.
Right.
More or less, Jesus gave us free will to make a choice, not for us to say this is my decision and this is how I'm gonna stick to it. So I'm looking that way. I'm trying to argue with Andrew, but I'm like amped up, man. I'm like,
Nah,
I'm
you good.
I didn't say nothing, bro.
You good, bro.
I'm 100%. I would consider myself a Democrat, and I actually believe I'm a Democrat because of who I am. I feel like just because I'm a Christian doesn't negate the fact that I'm also a black man. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't also negate the fact that I'm part of the middle class in the state. So, pay unto Caesar what's due to Caesar, and that's scripture. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, but you're supposed to be in the world, not of the world." That's use scriptures the way they actually intended. Don't rewrite the Bible,
Okay.
and then make the Bible mean what you want to make it mean in an argument. Those scriptures were intended for what the message they were trying to imply. So when you say pay unto Caesar, the Bible already let us know that there's things that's going to be, and we have to be conscious, saying I'm gonna have to live in a society, and how can I navigate through the society without losing my religion? And I don't think because I line up with a lot of who I am outside of a Christian, because I'm a Christian 24/7, but outside of my everyday walk and my culture and everything else. In Christian, you can be a Christian and have black culture. I just feel like it's poo-pooed if you say you're a Democrat, but everything about me and my people are Democrats. I don't vote against myself or vote against my family or my own people. Like,
How do you think that you're voting against yourself if you were to vote? Because that's what you're saying, right? If you were to vote Republican, it would be voting against yourself or voting against your family.
because
How so?
I would say today's society, you people mostly line up saying you're 100% against pro-choice having babies. You're against so many different things. Like just a lot of stuff that's lined up with the black culture. So, for instance, when we think about I'm just gonna go there. When we think about
there.
food stamps and we think about welfare, we think about projects. We know that that's literally funded by people that's in the blue party. So if I know I have relatives and loved ones that actually benefit from these programs, or or I agree with these programs, why would I say no? I know the black community, and it's not the only community that benefits from those programs, but if that helps the black experience, I'm going to vote against it because I think they should be working hard and because of my life experience. I'm like, think about you can't always think about yourself in every position. And I feel like we literally say the Republican Party is right if you're a Christian. And I just think like we're not looking at what the Republican Party meant to black people when we in the 70s as opposed to what it means to us now in the 2018 realm. And I know I've been speaking for a minute, but I want to finish it with this.
You good.
W.E.B. Du Bois and Boyce Watkins. Who's Boyce Watkins?
Claude Anderson.
Claude Anderson and Frederick Douglass. If we want to go back to that mindset, when we say separate but equal, Republican mindset, the Republicans really want to be less government. So if we want to go back to less government and less control, then we can say, oh, okay, I line up more with the Republican Party. But the Republican Party wants to be involved and want to tell people what they're doing. So we have a mixed mindset when they're both really the modern day Democrats. So what we think of Democrats, they both want to be involved. But we say, oh, this red party want to not be involved more. That's asinine. It's not true. And you need to look at the parties that you're saying you're a part of. And I feel like if I look at both Republican and Democrat and say, take 10 things, and I got to check on both sides 10 things that I agree with, I feel like more so if I had to, I would check maybe 5 things in the blue party and maybe 2 things in the red party. So 5 beats 2 any day.
So that's how you come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I got some more on it, but
Yeah, we gonna let you get it all out, brother. I want you to get it all out. So, and this was another one of my questions. Wait, do anybody else got something to say to that? He said a lot.
I said a lot. I'm sorry, guys.
You good, bro? You
bro.
are good.
No apologies needed.
Yeah.
I'm not really sorry.
Yeah, don't be, brother. What you kind of did answer a question that I did have, and I don't know if everybody caught it. So, because we also hear a whole lot that Martin Luther King was a Republican, and the Republican Party was the Black Party was the Republicans. Like black people were Republicans. back in the day. And so something that you said was that things change. Mm-hmm. So
yes, things change. I'm glad you brought that up. The Republican Party of that day is actually let me say this correctly. The Democrats are now the modern day Republicans, and that's actually called the Tea Party. They're the people that hated the race and hated move forward, but they were called Democrats back in the day, Dixiecrats. And now today they're
it's the Tea Party
and the Republican Party. They're the same people. They literally changed their views. Our current president in the 1900s said if he had to line his views up in any way, he would be more of a Democrat. Now in 2018, that he's the current president, he's now the Republican. He's part of the Republican Party. So we can't literally say, as a matter of fact, look at his money. His money financed Hillary and her husband. And now all of a sudden he's a Republican because the Republican Party is now so far removed from what it was back in the day. That's when, back in the day when they were Republicans, they did not want the government involved telling them what they can and can't do. That's why we called ourselves Republican, because the Republicans that basically stood for less government involvement. If we're going to get back to that, I'm cool with it. Let's have let's have separate schools. Let's have apostolic schools where I can teach my children just apostolic views. It could be, it ain't got to be versus black and white. I said apostolic because I know that was going to be a target thing.
So to you, less government involvement means that we would have to go back to separate but equal? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you ain't had the government regulating stuff, we would have a lot more of what happened in with the new modern day KKK when they were down there with the khakis and the white T-shirts and the little tiki torches.
Oh, okay.
It'd be more of that,
So you want us to be separated?
I think I want Christians to be separated. Yeah,
Okay.
if we can have 100% apostolic church. I went to a Catholic church majority of my Catholic school my entire life. I enjoyed it having religion in school. It wasn't an issue for me.
So you want Christians to be separate from non-Christians?
Yeah.
Or okay.
So how will we teach them the word?
Oh, you can still go out and outreach.
Okay.
You can still go out and outreach, but we saying if we saying to make it work, I don't know. I don't want to say. I want to think about what I'm saying in some sense.
Yeah.
Just answering the questions off cuff, but I feel like, truth be told, if we're saying we're Democrat or Republican, we're literally saying black people use that argument. Black people used to be Republican. No, there used to be more. There used to be like I said, a different section of whatever. One of my good friends called himself a fiscal conservative. But he lines up more with the Republican Party. But he calls himself a fiscal conservative. You can be a fiscal conservative in a Democratic Party. It's just whatever you line yourself up with, whatever you say you are. So when we really knock the Republican or Democrat off of it, really line up with what you say you are. I am a liberal conservative. Like, I have a lot of conservative views.
You're a liberal conservative.
Yeah. And that party exists inside of both parties, liberal and Democrat. If a conservative liberal are more lined up with Republican parties. Liberal conservatives, and it's just literally switching the name. One come first, one come second.
Right.
Is in the Democratic Party. And I'm actually extremely interested in watching politics on TV on an everyday basis and have the news come into my phone.
Yeah.
I love it. I love knowing what's going on with the president, what's going on with the Secretary of State.
Absolutely.
I feel like if you're not watching, you're not really standing up with what's fitting to happen. What's coming up? It's here. Like, we in the end days, and I know we done heard it since we was sure that we in perilous times. The end times are coming. Like, it's still, the end days was a day that the Lord to us is completely different. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with that. You definitely got to know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always watching something political. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Roland Martin. One thing I actually do try to do, given my stance, is I try to listen from both sides.
Yep.
Like just to see what both sides is talking about. You know what I mean?
That's actually one of the reasons I don't choose a side.
Yeah.
Because
Straight up.
in the last 2 years, maybe I used to. I'm a Democrat, just because the history. I'm from South Side of Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what everyone is. Democrat. You're
Yeah.
black. You're supposed to be a Democrat.
Facts.
So,
that's literally a thing in the Midwest.
Literally what I was taught. Like, if you're black, you're a Democrat.
You slid that in there.
This dude said it should be.
Right. But like in the last few years, I've just watched both sides, listened to both sides, and to be honest with you, I line up a lot with a conservative. Just based off my beliefs and the things that I expect from the government. I actually line up more with a conservative, but I don't consider myself a Republican.
Right.
I'm just a conservative individual. Not just saying I'm a conservative Republican. I'm just conservative from the way I want to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I want my firearms.
Amen.
I want, there's a lot of things that they say that they want. And there are things that I believe from the Democrats as well. That's why I say I pay attention to both sides. And it's more of me is what are you offering me?
Right.
I'm not just gonna line up with you and you're not offering me nothing. I don't care what
Your political affiliation is.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't.
Black, white.
Come on, because just to say that I'm lining up, because I'm not gonna vote against my family. But if you're not offering my family anything,
Yeah,
what am I lining up with?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I find it like the reason why I said I have the title of being independent is because, like you were saying, you look at both sides, you pay attention to both sides. And I told my wife this. I was like, at the end of the day, all Americans want is for the family to stay safe, the streets to be safe, have a good job, be able to take care of their situation, and just keep it moving. Like all Americans want the same thing, whether you're Republican, Democrat, call yourself independent. All of us want the same thing. But then you got these key things that every 4 years, every 2 years, the people who are running for office, they bring them up to get people lit. Go to Republicans. Oh, look, man, we're going to close these borders. We're going to keep these people out of here. We're going to cut your taxes. Everybody's like, yeah. Go to the Democratic side. Look, we're going to get these programs open for you, give you guys more opportunities. Everybody's going to be equal, level playing field. And just remember, a lot of y'all been disenfranchised and everything. Pull out a couple of race cars, go to a couple of churches, whoop-de-whoop. Yeah.
Right.
And that happens every year. And I said, people, at the end of the day, like I told my father, I said, look, people with the D next to the name or R next to the name, they may be arguing in front of us.
Right.
But behind the scenes, I said, don't get it twisted. They're all for the same thing, and that's keeping us against each other. Because as long as we stay against each other and not focused on, we're all literally in the same boat, they're going to stay in power and doing whatever the heck they want to do. Like, just because you don't see on C-SPAN these laws getting passed, they're passing laws without us even knowing. Like we're every single day we're at least breaking 100 laws without even knowing it. 100, at least 100 laws without even knowing it. So we need to like I said, man. I hate it. I hate it when people bring up like Republican, Democrat. I'm like, dog, it's the same thing. Like
It's the same thing.
It's the same
I
thing.
definitely do agree with that.
I often think about that. Like when the country was founded, it was one country.
Right. It was no Republican and Democrat.
When did we become two
both.
parties, and when did we become like split down the middle?
Well, when the country was created, we had 13 colonies, and they all believed different things, and they did not have a main party dictating what you were going to believe if a Democrat person won or a Republican won. They literally had states that ran their given area. So for Pennsylvania, the Quakers ran it, so the Quakers rule ran. Maryland was a Catholic nation. Maryland was a Catholic state, so the Catholic rule ran. So we think about it when they came over here to pilgrims and whatever came over to the United States. They came over and they set up certain areas that was people that wanted to believe what they wanted to believe. They could believe it because you remember the pilgrims or the people that were traveling over here. They were traveling from the Anglican Church. So we look what's here now. We have Mormons, which are over here in Arizona and Utah. We have Quakers, which are in Pennsylvania. We have the Catholic, which are in Maryland. We have the Evangelicals, which are in both North and South Carolina. So a lot of the different religions that came over here, they came over here with the mindset that I'm going to set up ground, and my people in my given area are going to have their own beliefs. It was more like cult communities in a sense. If excuse me for my lack of words to explain what I'm trying to convey, but I feel like what people do is we misscrew simple statistics. I went to a liberal art university and it's Catholic. Predominantly, we have statues up against abortion, but Catholics are Democrats. So to say Democrats are against for abortion, when the biggest religion in the United States is Catholics, it's like, whoa, is that true?
That's.
Is that true?
I never heard that.
I didn't know that.
The Catholics in Chicago vote Republican.
Right. I mean, and that's what I'm trying to say. So then when we get into this argument, we start realizing that inside of parties, there are different belief groups. There are different microcosms of belief factors.
There's gays. There's gay
Republican
in the Republican Party.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But this is the thing, because for so long, it's almost like you've had this, I guess, visual in front of people of what you are, and then when you change, it's kind of like in front of people, you just want to keep on displaying that perception. Like Republicans are against gays. You don't hear about no gay. You if you do, it'll be like some random crazy story. But for the most part, Republicans keep their gay friends, you know what I'm saying, their gay affiliation, like far removed. Even though, like, if you do your research, some prominent people in the Republican Party, they're gay.
But it's so crazy. We look at that mindset. We gotta just look at a map and understand why things are the way they are. It's not necessarily because of religious stance or anything, but is region based. In the South, more men are still men. So even if we take the gay out of it, feminine men are more prominent in the North, where you have more liberal point of views, as opposed to down in the South, where you have more conservative point of views. So us as heterosexual males that are still dominant, we don't like the fact that men are sensitive. So we say, like Brandon just said, I'm more conservative. Well, a lot of our views are conservative views and still macho views, and we like, oh man, I like what they're doing in the South. But what they're doing in the South is hiding who they are. They saying, oh, I'm gay, but I don't want to show nobody, because it's still how we grew up. If you're gay, we're gonna look. If you soft, we're gonna make fun of you. In the North, you can't make fun of nobody if they got a crooked eye. You can't say, oh, you got a slanted eye. You can't say nothing. So, and then we say, oh, we just connected to gay. We give too much power to gay when it's less than 1% of Americans. So we give that, we like even talking about them now, like they're not even that important. It's a sin that need to be prayed for, just like liars. We got more liars than we got gays.
They've bullied their way into the forefront of conversations.
And you know what, Brandon?
The squeaky wheel get the oil.
The thing that bothers me the most is that, and it's kind of our fault too, as black people, we've allowed them to hijack our like saying that gay is a new black. What?
Yeah.
You're not being sprayed with. Look, you're not being sprayed with hoses. You're not getting dogs sicked on you. You're not getting hung. You're not getting hung from trees like in public. Like that didn't happen to you.
We ain't let them do it.
Like that did not happen to you.
It wasn't gays that did it.
They
Who did it?
definitely
It was
hijacked
women.
that.
The feminist movement did it.
The feminist movement did
Feminist
it.
movie did it, and they so close to the feminists because they want to be females in a sense.
Who?
That's why women can line up
Gays.
with what they saying.
Okay.
The feminist movement said originally we're just like the blacks, so we agree with the blacks. So then black women jumped on it like yeah. So then they detached themselves from the black argument, the black men, and they got themselves out there like okay, we feminists. And then they got so far removed from being Christians. You look at black people in the 1960s and the 1950s when family was still together, when family was still important. That's the Christian way. So, excuse me, it's easy to help to somebody and say, you shall be saved, you should get baptized, you should be given for the Holy Ghost. But then you got to start to them, you got to start saying, man, you should take care of your family first. You should want to be with your wife first. So you should want to be with your children you create. You got to go there before you even get to now let's get baptized.
Yeah.
Now let's work. You got so many other barriers to jump over when if you're just doing things in the right way, you're more receptive to learn.
Right.
You're more receptive to understand this is the way things are supposed to be.
So
So when you go into other nations, Christians look at it. We go out in so many other nations and we can tell people, come on to Christ. And we could be Mormons coming, it can be Catholics coming, it could be evangelicals coming. They like, oh, we got them because they already have the concept of ordership.
The core stuff.
The core.
Yeah.
Yeah, the course.
We don't have no idea of course. So how we gonna go into the hood and say, hey, you should be saved, you should be baptized, you should want to do things right. And we speaking of political, like, but I'm a black Republican, I'm a white Democrat, whatever you want to say. And like they not even like at first base yet. They not even up in the battle box. They just I'm just living.
Right. Trying to survive.
I'm trying to get
What
it.
was you about to say, Pierre?
So as we've been sitting here, and I just been meditating a little bit, over quietly, and you all remember when Jesus died? What were some things that happened?
As far as
A chain of events happened right as he died. So one of them was the veil being broken.
Okay, the earth shook.
Okay.
Okay.
The earth
Yeah.
shook, the veil was broken.
Okay.
And that was to reveal, so that we can see him for ourselves, go to him for ourselves. We don't
Okay.
have to go through the
priest.
The priests. We don't have to go through them anymore.
Okay.
And that's kind of like what the parties have basically become for us.
What, the veil?
Like we go to we're using these parties to get the things that we want to accomplish.
Okay.
We can just go straight to the Lord. We don't need them. And that's basically, you know what I'm saying, what the Lord is like. He didn't create either one of those parties.
Word. I agree with that.
He didn't create either one of those parties. So we're debating which should Christians follow this one or should Christians follow that one.
But see, that's
Either one of them.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said at the end of the day, you go to every single American, they're gonna say one of three things. I want a good paying job. I want to be able to take care of my family. I want my community to be safe. Everybody basically wants the same
Yeah.
thing, but we have these things so attached to,
Political affiliation.
a
yeah.
political affiliation. Then if you're in a certain community, you gotta vote this way because everybody around you votes this way. So it's a lot of pressure to be almost like a mob, like a whole like mob mentality,
Yeah.
rather than to think individually. Okay,
Because we're
This is-
basically saying, to get my Christian ways approved, I'm going to take it to this party.
right, and that's the Republican Party. That's
You know
what they
I'm
display as
saying?
the Republican Party.
Whichever party it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Basically saying, I'm going to take my God's belief, my Jesus beliefs, and take it to them.
Oh, I get what
Push.
you're saying. I get what
You
you're
know what I'm
saying.
saying?
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have to do
We don't
that.
have
Yeah.
to do that. We can take it straight to the Lord.
Right. The Lords are like
You know
like Dave
what's
was
funny?
saying.
There are principles in the Bible as far as like just to kind of speak to what he's saying. Like we don't need a political party to accomplish the things not only that we want to accomplish, but to accomplish the things that need to be accomplished. One thing that we've all talked about as far as like how do we accomplish these goals, because we talk about that too. We're not always talking about this is the problem, that is the problem. We talk a lot about how do we get these things accomplished, and one of the common things that come up is togetherness. We even did a podcast on it, together as a community. But That's actually a biblical principle.
Yes, sir.
Right.
You know, the Bible talks about how good and pleasant it is for the brethren to dwell together
One with another. Yeah.
in unity.
That's what they did. That's what they did in Acts.
Acts, yeah.
And there is a commanded blessing when the brethren dwell together in unity. So, I mean, bro, you right, bro. That's that's what it is. We treating these parties like they the end all be all.
Right.
But I agree with you. I definitely do. For like we make parties almost a golden calf. Like I worship.
Word.
I
That's
worship this
whoa.
already.
It's an idol, bro.
So I do
is.
agree in the sense that a lot of us Christians do, worship parties. But I
Word.
also believe being in the world and being educated people that are able to have free thoughts. We sometimes get caught up in the everyday minutia of just living, and
Okay.
when we're living with
Minutia. You know I don't know what that means.
It's word of the day, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Minutia. I got an idea though. Go ahead, bro. My
we
bad.
just get caught up in the concept of we're Christians, and I just think a lot of times the parties and what's going on, it has a big Christian ramification, and I it's principles. It's principles like reach the unreachable. How do we reach the unreachable when we're setting up laws? When the Republican Party is literally setting up laws to not let people that it has some concept of a Christian mindset in the country.
Okay.
So we got to think about these in a sense. Like we let Jews and people from England come in anytime they want, or from up north they literally say they're Satanists or say they don't believe in what we believe in. Africa, all of them can come in through New York, no issue. But a group of people that say they're Christians, and we can easily but you're doing the Christian walk a little bit wrong. Paul spoke, and when we look at our Bible, we literally know Paul spoke to people that all called themselves Christians, but weren't doing the Christian walk the right way. That's why he wrote the letters to say, hey, you're Christian, but this is what you need to fix.
Yeah.
You're Christian, but this is what you need to fix. So imagine if modern day America did that. You're Christian, but Catholics, come on, be baptized, speak in tongue, and you shall be saved. That's where you're going wrong at. We can help you there.
You saying modern day America? I think imagine if the church did that. Because
that's what we call ourselves, though. America was supposed to be the city on the hill. We light ourselves.
is
as
America a
Christian nation.
Christian nation?
No.
I believe it began as that.
You believe that America began as a Christian nation, or because I think there's a fine line. I believe that America was founded on some Christian principles.
Half of our fellow fathers are Wiccans, in a sense.
Masons.
Masons.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Like 33rd degree Masons.
Yeah.
that's,
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really think that America was ever a Christian nation, but there are some Christian principles that America was founded on. I could say that.
but I say this to you in a lot of different conversations we didn't had in the past. There is a way that God created man and woman a certain way. He created people to do certain things. So that's what I'm saying. You can go to a lot of different countries and see actions of the way God created us. Doesn't mean that we're a Christian nation or we're doing Christian things. We're doing things the way God created us to be. So man laying down with a woman is, in a sense, a Christian thing because it's the way it's spoke of in the Bible, but it's also the natural way to make a baby. So if we see people in Africa and a man laying down with a woman, we're like, oh, he doing a Christian thing. Well, yeah, that's the way, but that's also the way God created us. So I feel like we give too much reverence to disorder, and you can't be a Christian nation if you're not a follower of Christ. So if you're not doing what the apostles teach you or what God told us to do, you're not a Christian.
Period.
I want to take a step back when you all say that this was not founded on a Christian nation. I'm gonna tell you why I believe it is.
Okay.
So basically, the what politics is in a nutshell is the order of a community. So if the order of the community was based on the Bible, and the Bible is so prevalent in our Constitution, how does that not make us a Christian country?
Is the Bible prevalent in our Constitution?
Well, it's through all.
Like you mean like the principles, like biblical principles?
Biblical principles.
Yeah. The Bible principles are also all throughout the Book of Mormon, and that does not make Mormons
In the
Christian.
Quran.
In the Quran, that doesn't make them Christians or
But
Christian
I'm talking
nature.
about the politics.
So
The politics of America.
I don't think the
It's
politics of
heavily-
America is heavily Christian at all.
In the beginning, when we founded. That's what I'm talking about, when we founded. Not where we are today.
Yeah, I'm
where we
talking.
started.
The founder, like the Constitution, like all men should be created equal and with inalienable rights, and I think
That's-
what we do, we connect regular life events and say they're Christian events, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like when I was just giving my little diatribe, like this, people connect everything and say, oh, if it's doing things the way it's supposed to be, or just regular normal things, it's Christian, and it's not necessarily Christian. It's just normalcy. It's if you're not a Christian, Muslims have inalienable rights. So we sit there and we actually all were Muslim, and we looked at the principles that that are in the Constitution. Like, man, America has a lot of Islamic constitutional rights. If we knew what the Quran said, I think you should be able to pray. I think you should be able to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's all in the Quran as well.
I feel like America was never a Christian nation, but definitely ascribed to certain Christian principles, simply because, like, our forefathers, a lot of them have been quoted basically saying just that. Like, I love the principles of Christ, but I don't necessarily ascribe to the lifestyle. So they believed in, yeah, like they were theists to an extent. Like they believed that the principles, that the biblical principles were sound principles. But when the lights went out, they was having orgies and, doing strange things, the children and all kinds of different things, man. So that's just what I mean.
You know what, Brandon? Actually, I now that I actually, I responded to you immediately, and I do believe that America was intended to be a Christian nation.
Was intended to be a Christian nation?
Yeah.
You believe that?
I believe it was intended to be a Christian nation.
Why you say that?
Because I feel like all these people, and like forgive me, I can't think of his name right now, but when he nailed the
Oh, you talking about Martin Luther?
Martin Luther, when he nailed the sign on the door of the church and was like, this is what you believe. I believed all those Christians that came over here wanted to create a nation that was what they believed. And I also, just because I like history, I think about, that they were fighting against the Moors. They was actually knew of the conquistadors, stuff we learn about today. Conquistadors. So, all Christians and then the Mormons, which were Islamic, going through forcing their religion on people. And I think like a lot of people was like, oh, let me get away. Let me create me a nation. Just like the Moors did. And like maybe that was their intention. Like we were intended to come over here, but so many different people were like, man, we can go up there to the new America. And we got a land that's already some people we could take over and do our thing. Shout out to Thanksgiving. And,
Shout out to Thanksgiving.
Kill everybody and just got our own land. But I just feel like in that same concept, we can't say I'm a Christian and also know we connected to diabolicalism that ain't got nothing to do with Christian. Like, we can't praise the pilgrims for coming over here and then say, okay, it's good, but the pilgrims also killed,
raped, all that
killed,
stuff.
raped, murdered.
Yeah.
And that's not Christian-like.
Yeah.
So, okay, you talk about all the things that was going on. That sounds like the Church of Corinthian.
Correct, yeah. Church of Corinthian.
So are you going to say they weren't Christians?
No, that's why Paul wrote to them. They weren't until he actually wrote to them to fix their...
He called them followers of Christ when he wrote them, and then gave them instruction.
So my issue now, no. Hold on, because I'm definitely gonna go there with you. Let me go there with you. My children are Robinsons, but I still have to teach them ways of becoming a Robinson or becoming my child or how I believe you should act in a sense. So yeah, you can be of my bloodline. You could try to follow me, but you have to then be raised up in the way I want you to learn. So if I get an adopted child and I change his name to Robinson, he's going to have some traits, but I got to then train him up to be what I want him to be and how, and he has to learn my culture. So the same thing as Christians.
But even in his mistakes, he's still a Robinson.
Yeah, but when they're adopted, are they? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like in their mistakes, they were born into my my bloodline and so forth. But what I'm trying to state to you is Christians. When he talked about them being Christians, follower of Christ is such a term, and we have to then break down what terms mean and go backwards. So Christians are follower of Christ, and the original people was called the Way, and before then, when we talk about the day of Pentecost, or when they got upset with for Cornelius, the stuff that happened at Cornelius' house,
Okay.
they was baptizing people that wasn't Christians, speaking in tongues, Gentiles. So when I'm talking about Gentiles, in a sense, Gentiles are people that literally are not original Christians. They're not originally in the bloodline. So when they're grafted into becoming Jewish, because that's the covenant that we're coming into. So when we're grafted into the covenant with Jews or the Israelites, what are we saying we are? What are we saying we believe? Now, I'm not an Israelite in the modern day sense. They're crazy in a sense. A lot of stuff they say is a little too aggressive.
Yeah.
But when we actually take the term Christians, follower of Christ mean people that say they're trying to follow Christ. That don't mean they're following them correctly. But
That's exactly what I'm saying.
we giving, okay, that's what I'm trying to. Why?
But so can you be a follower of Christ if you're doing it just because you say you are?
Right. No, you can't.
I don't think you can just because you say you are.
It's outlines to be a Christian, to be Christ-like.
And the fact is that if you're not following the outlines, then you're not. And that's really what I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay, this nation was a Christian nation. This nation was founded, and it was started off as a Christian nation. But man, I'm telling you, like, these guys was not Christians,
They didn't even
bro.
believe in it.
Like, they really was.
Funny, what's funny is I was just looking at an article right now about Benjamin Franklin.
So there we go.
Man, he had kids in his basement,
Bro.
like dead kids. And I know this sounds crazy, like, yeah, right. But promise you, like, you could look it up. Like, they've done archaeological digs at under his house and found, like, kid skulls. Like, they was doing some stuff, bro.
Demonic stuff, bro.
Like, they was doing some
It's in the witchcraft. If
stuff. So, yes, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on nothing, I'm just saying, like, yeah, sure, Christian principles were definitely a part of the founding of our country, for sure.
But, I mean,
Because when you think about it, I mean, Christian principles, man, come on, man. They the best ones.
They work.
Yeah, they work.
I think it's a deeper
They
argument.
work. But to say we're a Christian nation, just something that I just don't.
I think we kind of
fully
actually
agree, man.
we make more of a golden cast, and this podcast was intended for Republican versus Democrat, being
Right.
Christian. But I also feel like the American flag is a golden calf. I feel like the America is a golden calf.
Flags
I think
in
we
general.
give way too much credence to the American flag.
But I feel that way about all flags.
Yeah, me
I
too.
feel that
For sure.
Country
I hear
affiliation.
you.
any symbol that
Put above God.
That's put above God.
Period.
Like anything. So that's
Period.
all
Like the
flag.
American flag does not in any way represent
Jesus.
God.
Right.
No.
There's not.
Like in no way.
Nope. This is the thing. This is the thing that literally drives me crazy about. You were saying America wasn't founded. America, the intention when people came over here for was for religious freedom.
Right.
They just so happened to be Puritans, but even in the Puritans, they weren't like what you would say like modern day
Thank you.
Christians.
Right. So go ahead. Go
They
ahead.
were.
bro.
I mean, they were marrying little girls.
Like religious freedoms. That don't mean Christian. That mean
Religious
what I
freedom.
want to be.
Yeah.
If I want to be
right, what I wanna
Buddhist,
do-
that's what I'm gonna be.
Do what I want to do.
Right.
So I would say. I mean, I mostly older people say that it was based upon Christian. I say America was based upon freedom. The freedom to do what you want to do
want.
and choose to
Right.
serve whoever you want to serve. Mm-hmm. So, but now it's so, like I said, our society
And
is
because Christian principles
so
work, you know what I'm saying? That's what we ascribed to the most of.
and,
Okay,
and
Eli.
just out of human nature, like
Right,
out of
absolutely.
out of
Absolutely.
human nature, you want to see, you want to help other people. That's guess what? That's why people who need money, they stand on the corner and they beg because they know probably 7 times out of 10 somebody's going to give me money. Why? Because we're all inside of us, for the most part, we all intend good for somebody else.
Right.
But to ascribe that to saying, Christian principles were the founding, it kind of okay.
But my thing is, if it was, I get what you all are saying. I get it. I completely get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't think it would be so strongly prevalent because if you get a group of people now, all different ideas, and we're gonna come up with some dialogues. No one group of ideas is gonna be more prevalent than the other group, because no one would allow that. So the Christian principles are stronger because that's really what they
What they
believe.
were.
I
That's
think
like it's just
okay.
no one's gonna.
So I mean,
I'm
you had
like-
the Puritans, right? Then you had the Quakers,
Yep.
and then you had like who else? Basically, all of them were sects.
Mormon. I
Yeah.
mean,
But basically, like what you were saying,
And they were all different versions
Yeah,
of Christianity.
yeah.
Yeah.
but they all
that
weren't. I
mean
mean,
they
all
was
of them
a
were doing
Christian
dirt.
nation?
All of them were doing dirt, though.
the whole
Who
city
Paul
of
wrote them
Corinth
letters
was
to.
doing dirt. For real.
yeah. But I think, and I don't mean to change the subject, but I feel like one of the biggest things that we're doing now in today's society is that we black people. When I say we, when I'm talking to the black culture, I feel like we make it a cool thing to say, "Oh, I ain't Democrat no more," because we have heard it beat over our head. If you say you're a Democrat because you was raised that way, now you're just wrong. So now majority of black people say I'm independent, or I'm not a Democrat, just because it was beat over our head that was wrong, as opposed to saying let me make my choice and let me not be beat over my head because my parents was a certain way, and now I believe. When every other culture, their parents believed a certain thing and they believed the same thing. Their parents gave them wealth, and then they had wealth, and then they made more wealth off of their parents' wealth. So we tell the only group of people that don't have anything to connect to, let's say, can disconnect from what your parents taught you.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
I think people, like you said,
We just
people
now said it earlier in the
people-
podcast.
People are beginning to change, and people are just like, I'm not just gonna connect myself just because I'm told to.
Right.
I think that's what's happening. People are just like people. Look at the world we are in now. A lot of people like the whole thing now is be woke, stay woke.
right.
Everyone's just like, I'm not gonna connect myself to this just because of my parents. Now there are a lot of people that are staying Democrat because they line up with that, but people are looking into it for themselves now. Like I'm not just gonna be Democrat just because my mama told me to be Democrat.
And so what you saying, Mike, is what's so wrong with being something because that's what your parents are. That's what you saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I feel that way is because culture being handed down is actually important, and views being handed down is actually important. Now, and let me just say this, because I feel like the black views are so distorted and so now not prevalent in American society because we have no views to connect to, because we don't have a party to connect to. So if blacks would have stayed Republican, you know what we would have did? We'd have passed down the same views and then we'd just pushed the same views into law. But because we so spread out, we was like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. So look at what really happens, though. Because outside of us saying we are not this and we not that, we conscious thinking, stay woke or whatever, what we do now is we have black people literally preach against black people, talk against being black. All the negative things they say about black culture or the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, they only really trying to say negative things that are literally targeted towards black people. Now, let's go there. Abortion. When you think about abortion and Planned Parenthood and so forth, who do you think about, honestly? Who do you think? Do you think about the black or white
community?
When you think about food stamps and WIC and
The black community.
So when you think of those things, the negative connotations that's put on the Democratic Party is only literally targeted towards the Black Party.
Yeah.
So why should we say the Black Party is wrong in every single thing when we're raising black kids? We want black kids to have self pride, but then we say everything about you is wrong.
I really don't think that's like.
What we got to
I think-
connect?
I
Bro,
think
bro,
the
but
thing
by
is-
you saying that, you're acting like the Democratic Party is black people and the black people is the Democratic Party.
We all said that.
I
I
think
didn't say that.
black people are just getting to the point where it's like
We did kind of
I
all
know,
say that.
as we
Go ahead,
become
bro, my bad.
adults, and like you said, people change, groups of people change. This is what we consider millennials.
You did say that. You did say that.
There
I
was
do,
the
but
Generation X. So now we're to the point where we're actually questioning stuff. Like I literally asked my mother, "Why are we Democrats?" Well, my grandma told us to be like. That's not a suffice answer.
But
for
we don't have
anymore.
hold on for 1 second, because I agree with everything that you're about to say. I don't think we have to change our party to change our views.
I think I can understand the party and change my view. Like if I get to a point where I understand like this isn't working for me, or I just lining myself with them year after year, just to say that I'm a part of something, that just doesn't work for me.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you, but I feel like what happens is America has changed so much in the last 70 years. Republican versus Democrat, because we keep going back to blacks used to be Republican, right?
Yeah.
So in the last 50 years, let me be correct. If we say black people, let's say black people stay Democrat from now into 50 years from now. If they just say we're Democrat and we just progress, the party views are going to change. So since we're saying I'm not a thing because I don't want to be connected to something, we're saying we're going to be ununified. So let's say the black party really said, let's say we are Democrats. And then let's say we don't believe in abortion. I don't think most black people that actually are woke believe in abortion in a sense. So we sit there and we got all stick together and say, as the black party, we Democrats, and we don't believe in abortion and take these parenthoods out of our community. Because if our preachers were preaching about life and life more abundantly, or the pursuit of happiness, we were preaching about that in our black communities, our people will learn, oh, that's the wrong thing to do. So then we say, hey, let's get these things out of our community. Then you know what the Democratic Party would then be believing? Let's get this out of our community. But because our people don't preach about it, we connect to let people be whatever they want to be. So we get connected to gays. So then we like, oh, we can keep Planned Parenthood in the same community. None of our old folks believe with the Planned Parenthood. None of them.
So it sounds like you're saying we don't have to change the political affiliation, but we can just change what we believe. Mm-hmm. Like we could still say we're Democrats, but just change what we believe. Teach each other right from wrong, essentially, and progress in that way.
Wisconsin, Green Bay is predominantly is a Democratic area. We know that, and they had nothing like Baltimore, Maryland, which also is a Democratic area.
Okay.
So when we look at those parties, why those people still consider them Democrats and still have those same views and still been cheeseheads from the factory from the beginning and so forth? Why are they like that? We don't never take a second to think like that. We don't never take a second to say their progressive views may have changed. They may still call themselves the same party, but those politicians in that area, they know what target words they can say. So when I watch TV shows, I'm like, they from Wisconsin, they can't vote on that type of stuff. So they can't. They still Democrats, but like they know that they can't vote on abortion. They don't even put themselves involved in it, but they still part of the Democratic Party. It's like, that person's from Utah. We ain't gonna be able to get them to participate in this vote. So they know like, we need 160 votes to make this law go by. We know this state not going to agree. We know this state not going to agree. They all part of the same party. So inside parties, we know there's different belief factors. But we say, the black factor is the wrong. So then we poo-poo everything black. And like, you can't be a Christian and be black. That's really what they saying.
What?
That's what they saying.
That's what they saying.
I never heard that, bro.
You can't
Trust
be a
me.
Christian and be black. No, he's saying that.
Parties?
Right. Like you can't be a Democrat and be Christian,
If you black.
But I have heard.
but means that you can't be black and or wait,
I've heard you can't be black and Christian too.
Yeah.
I've heard that one by itself.
for real?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, many a times.
I've heard that.
That's crazy.
I've heard that. You know, they say, we got the religion from
The white man.
Oh,
That's the
okay,
same
okay,
people.
okay.
That's the
Oh,
same
yeah. No, word.
That's the old Democrats.
That's crazy though.
That's the old Democrats.
Yeah, that's ridiculousness. That's a whole nother podcast right there, for sure.
That's a 2 or 3 hour joint right there.
Yeah, that's nonsense as well. Yeah, that's nonsense as well. Man.
This podcast ought to be lying.
So is there a conclusion? We got this about
No, it's
3 or 4 different perspectives.
I think all of us agree. That,
Whoa, it sounded like you was going to say something about the Ku Klux Klan, brother.
no, bro.
We agree with them. That's exactly what we agree with. They came in white liberal, black liberal, white
up,
I
brother.
thought I was tripping when I heard that.
He was about to talk about the Ku Klux Klan, brother. Make your statement. Don't talk about something we all agree. Make your statement
I'm worried
first.
about the KKK first. Burning crosses. But they
I know,
Christians.
like maybe I didn't hear that. Okay.
No, you
I
heard that,
definitely
bro.
heard Ku Klux.
And you ain't never say what Wisconsin said.
I definitely
Frederick
heard that.
Douglass. Who you said? You brought up somebody.
I said brought up Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. That's
But they were talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
whether
and
they
I
were
cut
talking
you
about-
off.
They were talking about whether or not he was a Christian.
Yeah.
They were like, no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like you said, he had some principles that happened to agree
Yeah.
with what you would call being a Christian. I agree that nobody should go out there and murder people, but I could be a Muslim thinking that.
Right.
So I
You
mean,
can believe thou shalt not kill,
Yeah.
right?
So what I was saying was that I believe that all of us agree that a political party should not be above your relationship with the Lord.
facts.
Facts.
We
Like,
definitely all agree with that.
It's the Lord first. Which like I said, at the end of the day, I see Republicans do it. I see Democrats do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll through and through, no matter what anything is said through the mouth of the person that they say is ahead of that party,
Mm-hmm.
like it's all good. Like they overshadow everything just because of that R next to it or that D next to it, rather than seeing it in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, everybody wants the same thing. That's why I told my dad, I said, everybody's putting too much into this Republican Democrat thing. Like it's crazy to me. But this is the thing. This is what's great about America. He has the freedom to believe whatever he wants to believe.
Absolutely.
And as long as he doesn't try to shovel that down my throat and force me to believe what he believes, we're good.
But they did that to us. They did that to us already. What
Who?
did you say
Who?
you were?
What are you talking
You saying your dad didn't force that down your throat.
Right.
But the liberal media, and I said liberal, media made you feel that way. You just now stated in the beginning that you are a liberal,
Independent.
independent. Independent means you can't vote in the primaries. That's what that means. So you have no say. So what they did is they tricked us and said black people, call yourselves liberals. So you can't vote in the primary. So then whoever you would want in office, we're gonna put the two people we want up in the office anyway, because you can't vote because your party now you done now been dumbified and said you ain't nothing.
All right,
Choose a side.
No.
Saying that you're an independent is the same as saying that you're nothing.
I'm about to hit him. I'm about to hit him. Me being independent.
Mean you ain't
No.
You can't have no vote in the primaries.
How does that mean that, bro? I just voted in the last election a couple weeks ago.
You cannot vote in the primaries,
bro. I vote in every single election, every single primary. I vote.
That's Google. We have the Google always on hand.
What are we asking Google?
Ask the Google. Can you vote in the primaries? What did your vote mean in the primaries as an independent? And you're gonna be shocked at the response you get.
Bro, listen.
I'm just asking you.
No.
I know you. I mean, everybody can vote.
Bro, listen to me.
Mm-hmm. That's due to Google too.
No, I am. I don't care what Google says.
Facts.
See, what's going to trip you out is on my voter card. I'm still registered as a Republican.
See, that's the difference.
No,
But here's the
Listen
thing, though.
That's the difference.
I don't know, because it says yes. Like it says yes. And here's what my question was: this, can independents vote in primaries in Arizona? That was my specific question.
What does the vote mean? Because I believe it's
and
not
it says yes. Arizona is an open primary state. Independents may vote for candidates of recognized parties in a primary election by requesting a recognized party's ballot.
Yeah, you got to request something. Not what you get.
And this
regular.
kind of also alludes to the fact that what you're saying is true in certain states. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it depends on the state that you're in, whether or not
even
you
here,
can
you got to
vote.
request something.
Right, you have to request a recognized party's ballot. Which right there kind of makes it seem like an independent, like if you register as an independent, then you're not a recognized party.
Yes, that's exactly what it means. And we have been hoodwinked to saying we're not Democrat anymore. So like Brandon said, Brandon said, I'm a conservative, but I don't consider myself a Republican. So somebody that if Brandon wanted to vote, he's like, I can't line up with the Democratic point of views no more, and I'm necessarily not going to write down as a Republican because I've been black my whole life. So then let's say he did register to vote, he write down independent. Now independent, not even he can't even vote in the primary. So then who? So let's say it was Hillary versus Obama in the primaries, or let's say real Christians. Let's say it's a Christian versus a real Christian, and we think, oh, I want the real Christian in office that line up with my point of views. We can't even vote if we vote if we write ourselves down as independent.
But
we can't even get him in the office.
He just said he's registered as a Republican. Didn't you just say that?
That's what I'm saying. That don't matter.
So this is the thing.
You a Republican,
bro. Listen to me, please.
So you gotta understand that your argument is now not even.
Just listen. Right. Don't talk over me, please.
I got you, but you literally gotta remember what you said.
Bro, just listen to me.
Verbiage is important,
bro. I don't care about what you're coming from right now. Just listen to me. So the last election that I voted in was actually Bush versus Cheney. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I just went based on what my parents were teaching me. Mm-hmm. Like for the most part was, Republicans believe this and
where were you registered? You was a registered Republican?
Yeah. I registered as a Republican in California.
Even now?
What's that?
You register as a Republican?
Well, I never changed my
affiliation.
My affiliation.
Okay.
So when I say I'm an independent, I'm not taking my my Republican card out and just marking. I see an R. I'm just gonna go swipe and just keep it moving. When
you're calling yourself an independent, you really just mean
like mentally. I'm not
beliefs.
In my beliefs, yeah. I'm not connected directly to every single thing that the Republicans say out their mouths.
Right.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where I believe a lot of people are. A lot of black people are kind of going to like you were saying, Brandon. Like why am I voting Democrat? Which is there's no bad thing in asking that question.
100%.
there's no bad thing in asking like why. Almost like why am I a Christian? Am I a Christian just because my parents, brought me to church every single day
Yes.
or every single Sunday and everything? Why do I believe what I believe? You have to ask yourself at some point in your life as an adult. You have to ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had told my dad. He was surprised when I told him. I said, I'm independent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rocking with, because you gotta have some type of social. You gotta have some type of social programs for people that don't have a whole lot. They need something to just survive, just to barely make it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be like some Republicans and say, everybody just gotta work. That doesn't make any sense. So you just gotta think logically.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
but Mike over here is saying, black people need to stay Democrat.
I'm saying black people don't need to register as independents. Because what you just now stated originally with that you were registered independent. You said I am independent. So when we having the whole conversation, you were talking from the concept or the mindset that you were registered as an independent. You vote as an independent. So when I responded and said people that call themselves independent don't even understand that they can't vote in the primaries, or their vote really doesn't. You go there, you done made a lot of space in the line and took up a lot of time of yours, but your vote don't even matter because they don't count it.
But you know why that is, right?
Why?
That is because Republicans and Democratic Party they dominate.
They want who they want in office, and
But if you guys notice, in the past couple of major elections, there used to be, maybe there was. I wasn't paying attention because I didn't vote the last time because I was like, nix it, it doesn't matter. There used to be like a Green Party.
Yeah, it's funny that you just said that because the recognized parties in Arizona are the Democratic Party, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and the Republican Party.
So there's 4.
Those are the only ones that are recognized.
No independent party.
So the Tea Party isn't even recognized, or the independent
the
party.
thing is libertarian.
Because
Party is
the
a real
Tea-
party now?
That's the same thing as the libertarians.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They're interchangeable.
Libertarians,
Oh, I
they
thought
got
the
that
Tea
word
Party
liberal
was a
in it,
real
but they're
party.
not liberal at all. They so far removed from liberals. It's just the title of them. You actually look up what the libertarians is, you would be quite wowed by what they believe and who they are. And it's just it's hoodwinked. Like we just say a bunch of things that we don't really know the words that we're connected to. So then we vote. A politician in New York, and my friend likes to bring this argument up all the time. But they said if a person votes, if a person agree with if a person agrees, if I say 10 things, and they agree with 5 of them, I want them to vote for me. But if a person tells me they agree with all 10, I want that person to get checked in. It does not. You're not going to agree with all 10 that anybody says. Republican, Democrat, another person. You don't agree with every politician's target points or target statements. You can't, because they don't. They're not meant to target you. They meant to target you,
The
your
masses.
cousin, your aunt. A lot of people that believe different things. The Democrats are intended to target the gays, the blacks, the women, and the gay white men, the women, and the blacks. That's who they want to get to vote for what they want to vote for, and that's who the target. That's why their words say what they say.
So you're saying that, which I agree with, is that the Republicans and Democrats basically have their niche markets that they're trying to reach every single time in order to get through whatever they need to get through.
Yes. So if you want to say you're Republican, you could not even believe in Christ. You gotta make sure you say God is good. And you could be a straight atheist, but you know your target audience is the staunch Christians, the people that say
Yeah.
So the people in the South, they call themselves
Trump been doing it.
Yeah.
He been
Did it.
doing it.
Did it. He went to that day going to school.
Did
and
it
was
and been doing
mixed
it.
the scripture up and some more.
He said that's 2 Corinthians. That's not the one you want.
Like, yeah.
2 Corinthians. Don't you like that one? They was like, yeah. He was like 2 Corinthians. That's the one you want, isn't it?
That's like going to a black event saying watermelon and grapes. That's what you
That's what you want, isn't it?
yeah. That's what we
Grape
want.
soda and barbecue tater chips. That's what you want, don't you?
And he was like, yeah.
Some collard greens right there.
Great Kool-Aid. Yeah. That's what you want, ain't it? Yeah.
But to answer your question, I know we went on. I know I went off on my little thing, but I think there is a end conclusion to what you were saying.
Let's get with it. What's the conclusion?
I think it's just to be open and to not box yourself into one point of view. And as a Christian, put God 1st. Understand that we're still alive, so we're gonna have to make decisions in life, and laws do matter. And do not shut down or poo-poo anybody else's point of view. As myself calling myself a Democrat, that doesn't mean that I don't have, like I said, have conservative views. That's not going to line up with everything that the Democratic Party say. And we as a Christian, I'm a Christian, Democrat Christian, whatever. I think we have the responsibility to say to other people, be open. I like to make a joke all the time that Jesus was a progressive, because I call myself progressive. Like, he came to change. He came to debate with Dave and mess with all of them, like, to say these type of things. But literally, like, at the end of the day, no party affiliation mattered to Jesus. Being baptized, being full of the Holy Ghost, being a true living Christian, loving your family, loving your neighbor, and loving your family, loving God and loving your family is more important than blue or red.
Yeah.
It's more important than black or white. It's more important than anything that we can attach it to. But if you're going to attach something to it, make sure you're attaching the right thing, and not then in return don't double talk. So as a Christian, you should not preach your politics and say, "Thus say the Lord." I personally believe as a Christian that Jesus is a progressive. That sounds asinine for me to put that off on the rest of the world, to say that's my political views, and you should believe how I believe as a Christian. You can't do that.
Somebody somewhere I was listening to on the radio or something. They were like, if Jesus was walking this earth, he would be a Republican. I'm like,
What?
Right, that's what we do, and like
that, like,
man.
but that's what Mike is saying. Like,
Right,
you take, what you believe, you didn't walk with Christ. You all you reading is what is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So you just take that and be like, okay, the Republicans, they believe that, oh yeah, he was a Republican. We don't know what it might shock you. You get up to heaven, and he'd be like, you know what?
he is God.
Both of you were wrong. All right, both of you were wrong. All right,
I was green.
chill.
I was green. Straight up.
Got you.
Oh man, be Irv. Put a button on it, bro. What you think?
I'm going ahead with Romans 13.
There we go. We got scripture in this thing.
Not every
Count on
soul
be Irv.
be subject unto the higher power. For there is no power but of God. The power that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resists the power, resist the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive themselves damnation. For rulers are not of terrors to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. That's Romans 13, 1 through 3.
You guys heard it. You read it. Get it in you. Don't let your political affiliation,
Control your heart.
control your heart, control your spirit.
No matter if your president is a Democrat or Republican, or your leader is Democrat or Republican, you still have the obligation to pray for them.
Yes, sir.
They're leaders. They're appointed by God. I do agree with the scripture you read, but I do want to also add in there that God appoints leadership. So, and he can, like you guys said earlier in the podcast, we don't have to go to man or vote to get what we want done. He can put it in law. He can manipulate what he wants to manipulate to get it done, for lack of words. So just praying for leadership and understanding that they still appointed by God. They can be doing evil works, and they can be far from Him, but He can get His point across through anybody.
I mean, that's why we pray, like you said, Mike. We got to pray that that the Lord touches people's hearts to make the right laws, surround them with godly wisdom. That's why we pray those things. That's why it really, my wife actually took like a 2-week hiatus from Facebook, because she said that it was just hurting her spirit to see Christians supposed to be saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, like dogging the president. Like, granted, you don't have to agree with everything the president says, but don't disrespect the man. The Lord put him in authority. That's like you dogging. That's like you disrespecting, or talking about our bishop. Like
Right.
you can disagree with what Bishop says, but do not talk about the man who God has appointed as the head.
Yeah,
like
but
you
That's 100% true. What you're saying is 100% true. Is you still are going to have an emotional connection to people having this viewpoint now that there's a Anglo-Saxon man in office and saying respect his leadership and his headship. But then when it was the coffee-colored man in the White House, and the same people that wants you to have this respect for the head, for who God appointed, didn't have the same reverence or respect for that man.
Right.
So if you're a Christian and you saying these are the views that I believe in, you respect the president, then don't disrespect Obama, but respect Donald.
Right.
Don't disrespect Obama and Michelle and call his wife all type of names and ask him is he a Christian or ask him is he American, but then this man is married to every single non-American out there. We can have a non-American first lady of America,
I
though.
think that was the first too.
But we had a problem when the
It might have
one
been, I
guy,
think so.
I can't even remember his name. I think it was Kennedy or whatever. But he was Catholic, and he was like, "I wonder if the Pope's gonna be able to control what he believes." So we don't know if we want him in office. Years ago, obviously, but he was Catholic president. He was actually the president. So we
You're
now.
not talking about Kennedy, are you?
I think it was Kennedy. I think it was
I
Kennedy.
think
It
they
was-
were Catholic.
Yeah, all of them were Catholic. They're big
I
Catholic.
think they were worried about him being in office and being controlled by the Pope, and they didn't know if they wanted him, to be in office. But this guy, his wife is, over there in
She is an American, though.
Yeah, she has a citizenship.
Obama obviously had his citizenship, but we wanted to challenge him. His mother was from Hawaii. It was his daddy is in Africa, and I think he's a part of ISIS. Like really,
no,
but they don't
no.
they don't respect
Respect the man.
respect the
position.
office, respect the office, and pray for the office. Don't just pray for
At-
who we agree with.
Like you said, at the end of the day, if you're a Christian, you say you're a Christian, then Jesus is your guide. Jesus is your source. He's your savior. He's everything. He's your everything. So I like I said, I'm imploring you, like, if you call yourself a Christian, you're listening to this podcast, like I'm asking you, don't be going on Facebook,
it can turn people away from
like
God.
tearing people down, because guess what? They're looking at your post and they're like, is this how a Christian acts? Nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay
Those
doing what.
Christians
Yeah,
so judgmental.
yeah, right, exactly.
No, we
For
get
real.
that.
It'll turn you away from God. I'm telling you, you being up there and say, oh, but this, and this, and you talking about people, but you don't understand. They looking at you like, maybe I wanted to come to Christ.
Bro,
Now I can't come to Christ because I know what you think of me.
I get entertained every day because I have on my feed, I have some people that are Republican and they're Democrat, like they're going at each other, like getting personal, bro. And that's what I don't like. I like your political affiliation should not make it so personal. Like I go to Mike and I'll be like, you're a Democrat, then you're an idiot because this and that and the other. Like that's dumb. That's dumb. I should be able to talk to Mike and he respect my point of view and me respect his because we're men, because we're human beings, because we're men.
Absolutely.
And it just stay at that. So that's what I say to people. That's my done.
Quick question though.
Go.
Do y'all believe in your mind that Democrat mean black? To the masses, when you say Democrat, do that mean black?
I mean,
That's associated with black, yeah.
I think it is. I think it is associated with black. I remember being a kid and me and my best friend was on my front porch and we were talking. I was asking him like, what? I don't remember the exact question, but like I was asking him about political affiliation, and he basically said like, yeah, we Democrats because that's what our mamas and daddies are. Like that's what black people are. We Democrats,
Bro.
So definitely, like when you think Democrat, you think the Black Party.
That's basically the same speech I got. And it was coincidence that during the 2000 election, I was in 8th grade getting ready to take my Constitution. So when we were doing the studying for the Constitution, the election was going on, and it was just like perfect timing. And like the natural question came in our class, like,
Like, what are we?
what are we?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we was just like, y'all black, y'all Democrats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Plain and simple. I went
Straight
home and
up.
asked my mother,
Simple.
you black, you Democrat.
And she confirmed it. That's all you
That was
need.
it.
That's
That
all
was
you
it.
need.
And then as I got older, so why?
Right.
Because we're black. Well, so my grandma told me.
Word.
Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
If
Right.
you
Like,
if you don't question what you believe, and I'm saying this all across the board, if you don't question what you believe, at some point you have to question what you believe, and if you don't, you're gonna be in a bad position.
you're gonna get
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
period.
you're gonna get to where you're 40, 50 years, 60 years old. I'm like, what was I living for?
right.
What was I doing?
As
What,
we
like,
would
what
say,
what's my existence?
lost in the sauce?
Right.
Lost in the sauce. You got to question what you believe. Now, I do agree with Michael in regards to that don't mean leave. You know what I'm saying? Like question what you believe, but do your research. Do your research.
On everything. Don't just
Yeah.
stick to like Brandon was
Do
saying.
your
Look at
research.
look at both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Don't look at both sides.
Look at both sides.
Every argument not for you. Every argument not for you. I just think sometimes we get so mixed up. I don't have to look at the Quran to know what I believe in the Bible is for me.
But we're not talking about
That's what I feel.
Or
like we're
the
talking
truth.
about. The truth. Like I feel like
Democrat is the truth.
no.
And when I said that, I'm definitely talking about belief, like whatever you believe.
yeah, that's what you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
And I'm not. And to answer your point about like watch Republican news or Democratic news, if you are not just watching regular life, you got the game
But
messed
see,
up.
that's different. See, because when you start questioning your belief with God, it actually draws you closer to Him.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? So you can't.
It can, yeah.
If you go about it the way I go about it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say it like that. So I can't put that on everybody. But when I start questioning things, and I question things that He do, you know what I'm saying? Just questioning my belief and my faith and strengthening it actually strengthens my walk.
Now, when I say correct, you don't got to watch both news. I don't necessarily sit down and watch CNN versus Fox. Essentially, I don't have to sit down and watch CNN to know that if I wanted to be Republican, I need to do a better research than watching CNN's news as opposed to watching Fox's news. I literally know if I'm going to watch Fox News, there's going to be people to be biased towards who I am, not just because of my Democrat. Take Democrat out of it. There are going to be people that's going to beat down black culture because they beating down black culture, not even understanding that black culture can still be, these black people that you're beating down are still Christians. So when I say not a vote against myself, I could literally be a black Christian that still thought Trayvon Martin being killed was a bad thing. But if I watch Fox, I'm going to hear, well, he was a hooligan, or he was
He had a record.
Like all those things are being brought up. I'm like, well, he was
spit on a cop.
Like these things, some of these things you hear being beat over by black people. I'm like, listen, I don't want to watch
He
that
was
to
a
say I'm going to
thug.
be Republican because I'm going to watch that and I'm going to feel like they turned me away from probably finding out truth. Because now all I'm hearing is that who I am is wrong. Because I wear urban wear is wrong. Because I'm black, I'm not a Christian. When I can dress urban and still be a Christian. And that's when I said earlier, like being black is not Christian. What's the rapper, Christian rapper? Y'all know him. Everybody, the most popular Christian rapper out there.
Lecrae.
Lecrae, literally, that's exactly what I was talking about. Lecrae, when he said he had a song called "I'm Losing My Religion," and he broke away from the mainstream, was like, yeah, I'm still black. They literally would beat him up because they was like, oh, he's not Christian anymore because he don't want to say I recognize the white Jesus and all that stuff like that. I'm still black, still a part of the black culture. They literally say he wasn't even a Christian anymore.
They
what?
did say that. They did say that.
He did say that. And so I'm
They
like,
did say that.
just because he has a black culture, so being black does not make you not Christian.
I think that the same thing happened with Kurt Franklin.
Yeah, Kurt Franklin ain't Christian though. But I know what you mean.
And we're done.
Christians don't wear skirts.
Easy.
Christian men don't wear skirts, bro.
Whoa.
We can't wear a skirt.
We can't wear a skirt.
We can't
We-
wear a
You
skirt.
wore a skirt? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had a skirt on his
Where's the
tights.
Google?
Yes.
He had a romper
Yes,
thing going on.
tights. He had the romp.
Oh man.
Well, he might be Christian. He might need to repent.
That was his urban wear, bro.
That's not even urban. That's a new style. That's a new
Hey,
class.
hey, what city was he in when he wore it? That's what you
Oh
need to ask.
man,
California.
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 California. There you go.
California, IA.
There you go. There you go.
San Francisco. To be
San Francisco.
Oh my God,
I ain't the only one. Coming to you soon.
y'all are wilding right now.
The gays anonymous. I don't know why they can wear.
He's in Atlanta.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's where the blacks go, right? The black.
Oh man, Lord is good.
Oh
God
man,
is good.
yeah. Hey, that's something. That's how you clean it up.
Ain't God good? Won't he do
God
it?
is good.
We're not judging.
I am. Don't wear that. You a Christian? Don't
He
wear no
said, "I
skirt.
am." Don't wear that.
Wear that.
Oh man.
Men supposed to have long sleeves on. No shorts.
As he
to
sits
church.
here with the short sleeve shirt on.
I'm talking about in church. Don't wear shorts to church. Talking about that's a new style. No.
Oh man.
Short,
You are funny,
No
bro.
mini skirts.
You are
short suit set.
No embroidered
It was
hair.
a short suit set.
Yeah, it had shorts, but he still had a jacket.
with ruffles. I'm like, this man is out of control.
This man is out of control. He done lost his mind.
I'm the bride of Christ. I can wear. No. Bride didn't mean that, buddy. Bride didn't mean you come a woman. I mean,
He killed the
my bad.
Yeah, you wildin'.
Went too far. I've been watching a lot of Kev on stage.
Oh man. All right.
Hey, watch Kurt Franklin watch this thing. Like,
right.
you know what? Hit him up.
Kurt Franklin.
He might
Kurt
get-
Franklin ain't watching this, man. Kurt Franklin ain't gonna never see this.
He got hits on his name. He's like,
Take them skirts off, though. If you,
Yeah, for real.
if you happen to see it, brother. Nah. So, man,
And share.
we done said a lot. We done said a lot. At the end of the day, man, the Lord should be before it all. Period.
Make a lot of noise here.
At the end of the day, the Lord should be before it all. I know I should get like some carpet on top of this or something, huh? Some kind of, I don't know.
Nice.
But so yeah, man, that's really it, man. I mean, look, have your political affiliation. You know,
Just don't let your political affiliation have you. You know what I'm saying?
hey, there we is.
good right
There we is. And with
Make money.
that,
Hey,
if you made it this far, round of applause for you. This has been the Honor Among Men podcast. Real men, real talk, real issues. And we thank y'all for tuning in. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Instagram. The Flowers Now Network. All one word. Thanks again. Peace. We'll see you next time.